So when Joe Mazzulla says he's excited about it, this is the good stuff.
This is great.
Does it feel that way?
It
Celtics
does not.
fans, do you agree with that?
No, it does not. And I'll tell you, proving once again that winning is everything in every sport, Joe Mazzulla's starting to lose me a little bit. So
I was just going to ask you this because we're on the Joe Mazzulla bandwagon.
We weren't, and then we were.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to find where I can get off.
They've lost 3 out of 5, 4 out of 7. They're 8-8 over their last 16, I believe.
Yeah, they're a 500 team for the last close to 20 games. That's a decent sample for where they're at, and
it's a quarter of the season.
Yeah,
yeah,
and 500, that's the 8 seed. That's the bottom of that's like a play-in type of team, and the losses are one bad team after the next. You lose to Toronto and then Atlanta in a 3-game stretch. And
Atlanta again.
They got your number. That was what was it, last year, the year before Orlando, when Orlando was bad, kept beating them?
Yep.
But too many times we've come on the air and we're like, well, that was their worst game. And they got that one. That was their worst game. They had another, that was their worst game over the weekend. But then Mazzulla, it's funny, when he first took over and the team hadn't broke through, didn't win the whole thing. They were still successful, but they didn't break through. We were kind of like, oh, my God, he's fighting with Gary Washburn about threes every press conference, it seemed like. And I'm like, I don't know about this guy.
Well, these were all Gary Washburn questions.
Of course.
Tatum's walk-off on Friday night where he's like, I guess I'm a big deal, was a Washburn question. This is a Washburn question. We're going to play you another one coming up where Mazzulla has me on the verge of tapping out.
He's pretty critical of the team, but I think rightfully so in these cases. He's fair. I would view him as very fair.
Do you care about this? And we'll get back to Mazzulla in a moment. You guys can jump in on the Celtics and what's wrong with the Celtics because
something is.
There's no Keefe scoop on the Celtics yet.
No, not yet. I'll dig in.
Something's off there, and you're starting to wonder if Jalen's in the middle of it. I was unaware of this. Greg brought this up to me today in the crossover. I didn't even know about this. But Himmelsbach reported over the weekend that Jaylen Brown has not taken part in a post-game media session after any of the last 4 games. I didn't realize that.
All right.
And he specifically declined requests the last 2. Apparently, after the Orlando game, he was out of there quick after a win.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a rocky first half of the season for the All-Star, who was atop the basketball world last spring when he was named the MVP of the conference finals and NBA finals, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I didn't know about that. So I'm not saying Jalen's the problem, but you wonder if I'd start there. And we brought this up last week. Is Tatum making an MVP push, and that annoys Jaylen Brown? Or, is Jaylen Brown wanting to legitimize what he did a year ago with the NBA Finals and Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and he can't? Peyton Pritchard's gunning for 6th man. Porzingis trying to wedge his way back into the starting lineup when they won without him. Horford's back on the bench. Derek White's making an all-star push. I don't know whose individual agenda is out in front of the team, but it sounds like something that they're struggling with.
And is Joe Mazzulla the right guy to fix it? That's where coaching does come into play in the NBA. It can be overrated, and I don't even know if it's overrated as much as it's just not as important as a head coach in the NFL. And so a lot of it is going to come down to sort of managing these massive personalities. You could talk about the players in the NBA, tough to kind of, get all working in the right direction. And so Mazzulla initially took over in a weird spot. There were some tough moments there. Remember Marcus Smart calling him out? There was a weird, kind of struggle for power. They then supported him with all these assistant coaches to try to beef him up. Then you win the title and you're like, all right, he's good, all set. But it's man, that all happened really quick. And now that you are facing some adversity, is he the right guy to talk to these super duper stars and get them back going in the right direction?
Okay, so when they're winning, we love Joe. Now they're losing again. We're kind of teetering. Tell me how you feel about this. This is an exchange after the game on Saturday. They split over the weekend. They beat Orlando, blow them out. They lose a tight one with Atlanta in overtime. Tatum misses a shot at the end of regulation and at the end of overtime that could have sent it to double OT. Let's hear Mazzulla with Washburn after the game.
You guys got a long flight coming up. Now you're going back out west. What's that flight?
Your body language is, you look demoralized.
No, I'm not demoralized.
Oh, okay.
I'm just,
I was going to say.
I can't be perky and you guys just really blew a game like this.
Yeah, we sure did. Yeah, we blew that one. That was bad.
Okay, stop real quick. What do we think of that?
He's getting pissy again.
Well, is that pissy or is that kidding around? I honestly can't tell. He did it with a smile on his face, to his credit, and it doesn't sound pissy to me. But just the fact that he's
trying to change it,
mixing it up, and you look demoralized over there. And then Gary's like, well, you guys suck. And he's like, yeah, that wasn't good by us.
Yeah, no, it was real bad. Real bad.
That's interesting is all I'll say
I'll
about
say
that.
It was interesting.
Give me more.
Yeah, we blew that one. That was bad.
I mean, but how do you kind of get the guys' spirits up? You guys play a day and a half.
I mean, you have, again, like this. You get the spirits up by having honest communication, but at the same time, like, you know, we got to play another game. We don't have time to. I mean, I guess we have time. We have a long flight, but we just don't have the time to worry about it. Like, you know, we'll learn from it. There's an accountability thing. There's communication in there. But like I said, like, I don't like. I guess my question when I'm always in situations like this is like, what do you expect? Like, do you expect that when you do something as a team, do you just expect it to just go well for you all the time? Like, I always ask myself that in situations like this. Is like, I use some explicitives before that, but I'm like, what do you expect? Like, did you expect we were just going to have another 65 win season and we were just never going to like make mistakes or like
stop?
Yes,
me too.
First part, yes.
Yeah,
never
you're gonna make
some
mistakes.
No, I didn't think you were going to play 82 perfect games.
Did I think you were going to win 65
I
games?
did.
Yeah, me too.
I for sure did.
You shouldn't win 65 games this year.
Great teams do. Stan Van Gundy said it's the best team ever assembled.
Good point.
Before the year began, he was like,
Keith,
this is the best roster ever.
Keith, 2 weeks into the year, and the East has improved, but 2 weeks into the year, there were like two teams in the Eastern Conference over 500.
Cleveland and the Celtics.
The Eastern Conference isn't even that good.
Yeah, I for sure thought they were going to win 65 games.
Me too. I thought you were going to pick up right. You didn't lose anybody.
But then, see, he overdoes it. It's just, you thought we were going to be perfect all year? It's like,
no,
or not make any mistakes. No, there's always going to be mistakes. But you're so far, or you're so much more talented than all these other teams that you can make multiple mistakes within a game and still find a way to win those games. You're not going to win them all. That's where there's like a buffer there. 65, and what would that even be? How many losses would that be? 17 losses, I think.
No.
Too much.
No, you're right.
Okay,
right.
17 losses.
Yeah.
So like you can still lose a bunch of games. That's okay.
Yeah, you're going to stub your toe. You're going to lose games. We all wrap our head around it. You're going to go 500. 8-8 over 16 games, over a month plus. You're going to do that,
but you lost to the Raptors.
Yep,
you lost to the Hawks again. The Kings, that you lose to them. You've lost a lot of these signature games as well. We highlighted, Oklahoma City and Cleveland, the Christmas game, like Golden State.
So I thought you didn't lose. Did you lose a coach or a significant player from last year? A player of importance from a year ago? You didn't. No. So, I thought you were going to do that.
They
again.
won 64 last year. I thought, why not again this year?
And I think they are better. I think they're better. They're healthier. Pritchard's been more impactful. Maybe that's part of the problem.
Yep.
But they should be better. Keep going, Joe.
If you're going to bring back, if you have the same team and a group of guys that are doing something together that we're going to show our ass from time to time, like what, and not you personally, but like what do we expect? Like what do you expect? And that's why it's a part of the journey there. And so we just don't have time to worry about that. We need to fix it. We have to fix the details, and we will, and we'll do that. But what keeps me in kind of what I'm explaining to you is I trust the character and the mindset and the preparation of our team. And over the course of a long stretch, whether that's till All-Star break, till season, till playoffs, till next year, I don't know. But there's just the utmost trust in how they carry themselves. So, there's not a group of people that I wouldn't rather go through something difficult together with. So, again, sign me up. Doesn't mean I'm happy. Like but this is the thought process about how we're going to go about it,
So this goes back into what you were saying, Keith. Is he a little too trusting that just because they're talented and he likes the personalities and he likes the guys in the room, is he a little too trusting they're just going to figure it out?
I know.
And a little too hands-off. At least he acknowledges we need to fix it. Right. He says they're going to fix it.
He loves the journey.
But is he a little too hands-off and just saying, well, they'll just figure it out?
Well, maybe, and I guess the bigger question is not whether you or I are still, in on Joe Mazzulla and like enjoying these press conferences and the whole Mazzulla experience. Are the players? We talked about it with the Bruins, which we'll get to. They tune out coaches left and right. Teams around in every sport seem to tune out coaches and managers left and right. They end up being the fall guy. I'm not saying by any means Joe Mazzulla's on the hot seat, but does Tatum and Brown and those guys, do they look at him and they're like, yeah, we are going to dig out of this? Or like, is his message no longer getting through? I never thought I would ask that 1 year after winning the title.
No, me neither. I do like this. Good text, 617-779-7937. Let me get this straight. You guys are walking back the fact you like Joe Mazzulla? You're acting more and more like Mayo by the day. Well, fair point. We're walking things back.
Yeah, but not the next day.
Not the next day.
So the big difference with Mayo was it was 1 day, and then if we came on tomorrow and we're like, just kidding, I was with him the whole time.
It's like 6 weeks later, and they've been playing 500 for a while.
And we weren't always on Team Mazzulla. This has been a little bit of a ride. We weren't, and then we were, and then we tried to stay on there, and now you're like, I'm not off yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I'm
considering.
I'm looking at an exit strategy.
Where do we go from here?